Hello, this is Stephanie from Our Natural Wisdom. This morning I want to share some gardening wisdom, and those of you who love to garden, I know that you are just itching to get out there and do some spring cleaning. And I thought that this would be a wonderful time to talk about my experience rejuvenating our lilac hedge. Gardening is such a wonderful activity for deepening your connection with Mother Earth. And it brings forth so much wisdom that you have within you, that you have had throughout lifetimes and ages, that ancient knowing of how to tend to plants and how to allow them, assist them in flourishing and bringing your life so much joy. If you are a healer of the earth, I'm betting that you are also a gardener, because they go hand in hand. And gardening is healing the earth, especially if you engage in restoring native plants to your landscape. These plants that I'm going to be talking about today are not native. They're some of the few non-native plants that we've decided to keep in our landscape after purchasing our home about 3.5 years ago. They're lilacs, which are also incredibly common and beautiful and so fragrant and such a symbol of spring. So I thought that it would be a wonderful time to share with you some of the wisdom that I've been gaining from tending to our lilac hedge. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can get a view of them. We have a hedge of lilacs along our driveway, and I think the last time I counted there were 19 individual plants. So it's a long hedge. It would have been pretty, caused a lot of impact to our landscape to remove this entire hedge. And soon after we moved in, I realized that they were in fact lilacs. I did not know that they were, because it had been trimmed as a hedge, like you would trim a boxwood hedge, for instance. And you can tell because they had just been cut off over and over at like this level. And you can see all of the growth is so dense and winded and just intertwined at that level. Kind of a little bit of a mess, honestly. When I realized that they were lilacs and I started looking at what the appropriate way of taking care of lilacs is, I realized that they needed a huge renovation. So what I did last spring after they flowered, and they did not flower much because lilacs flower on growth that is typically up to about 4 years old, and after the stems are older than that, they really don't put out much of any flowers. As the wood gets older, the flowers become smaller, and so it's really ideal to have a lot of young growth of wood in your lilacs. And so this is what we were attempting to make happen. Apologize for any windy sounds, but we're outside. And so when I realized that these needed a big renovation if we wanted to have them actually flowering and as beautiful as this 19 plant long lilac hedge could truly be, I learned about the rejuvenation of lilacs. And there's really two options. I'm going to turn it around again. There's really two options for rejuvenating lilacs. You can cut them all the way down to the ground and allow for a few years to have them grow back up, or you can thin them out by like 1/3 of the plant over 3 years. And the latter option is the one that I chose because I didn't want to go the more drastic route, the more extreme route of just taking them all the way down to the ground and having to wait for 3 years before they really grew back up and provided flowers. So last year I spent a lot of time, and it took a lot of effort to thin these out at the bottom of the roots, of the stem, and took out a lot of the old growth. Now, doing this, it looks like it's a very drastic approach, but it's truly the best method. It's what the lilacs need to thrive. And just like lilacs need that. We need that. We need to release those things that are no longer serving us, those old beliefs, those old thoughts that are just, we're holding on to. They're no longer bearing flowers. They're no longer bringing us fruit. They're no longer allowing us to flourish in our lives. They're things that we have held on to over the years, and they have outlived their useful purpose. And in some cases, maybe they never served us at all. Maybe it's just thinking and patterning that we acquired through conditioning in our family or just in society in general. So this whole process of rejuvenating the lilacs has really brought forth so much wisdom. And I know that you could gain this wisdom too, opening your heart to what your plants have to teach you as you are working in the landscape in your yard and in your garden. There's so much to gain from our relationship with plants. Now, our lilacs, after I trimmed them up last spring, I'm going to turn it around again, they really started to put on a lot of growth. So you can see, and it's nicely, you can see it from this angle perhaps better, that dense, like really interwoven pattern that cuts across the middle is the former top of this hedge. It's where they had been pruned over and over again, really constraining the plant. And this is very similar to a lot of the things that we do to ourselves, where we constrain ourselves. We don't allow ourselves to grow and to flourish and to really reach out and find that spaciousness and expansiveness that allows us to do things like this. Now look at these beautiful stems. This is all new growth that came on from last year following all of the pruning that I did. And these stems are absolutely laden with flowers. There are hundreds and hundreds of flowers that are going to be blooming here in a month or so. And I am absolutely thrilled because this is exactly what I did this for. This hedge is going to be glorious, and I am so excited to share it with you because it is just such an indication of how much joy and fulfillment and beauty we can bring into our lives when we really allow ourselves to step away from being constrained. This is another great view of how dense and woody that layer is that this hedge had been pruned to over and over again throughout the years. And now it's just reaching out and putting on those buds that allow for such amazing flowers to take form, to really tap into the pure essence of this plant. And it is going to be so lovely, not only visually, but also the fragrance. Lilacs have such a distinctive, beautiful, springy fragrance, and we're really looking forward to experiencing it right outside our home. This is a long hedge, as you can see. It runs all the way down the length of our driveway, almost to the end, about 19 or 20 plants. And I just wanted to share this. I felt called to share this with you, and I think I'm going to be doing more sharing of our gardening adventures because I absolutely love gardening, and I know that so many of you do as well. And I just once again want to encourage you to connect, really deepen your connection with those plants that you tend, that you love, that you have around your home. They are an extension of you. They are part of you. We are all connected. And the wisdom that you hold throughout the ages of how to work with plants and how to just draw upon all of the wisdom that they have to share with you is so healing and provides you with so much creative energy and really connecting with the energy of Mother Earth. So if this is the kind of wisdom that you are interested in hearing more of, please let me know in the comments. I am really looking forward to sharing more about the gardening that I engage in, a lot of perennial native gardening, with the exception of this lilac hedge, of course, which is not native. But we are really dedicated to being healers of the earth in our garden landscape, as well as in our work in the world, as I know that you are as well. Thank you for all of the beautiful work that you are doing in service of Mother Earth, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. Okay, have a lovely day. Bye-bye.